Hey everyone, welcome back. Rhaenys and Meleys met Vagar, and like so many that came before them, most recently Lucerys and Arax, they've met their end. When we look at Rhaenys, we first must consider the Dragon Pit scene because it was the most pivotal one for her in the series. Before all that happened, most viewers saw her as a smart, savvy woman who offered sound advice, had a good moral compass, and might have made a fine queen if the realm had accepted her. When people said the queen that never was, it felt like it might have been a missed opportunity for the Seven Kingdoms that she didn't take the throne after the Great Council of 101. After the Dragon Pit, which incidentally wasn't in the book Fire and Blood, perceptions changed about her. To escape, she killed scores of innocent civilians attending the coronation. My guess is that the showrunners didn't think this one through thoroughly and chose spectacle rather than having her go out the main entrance of the Dragon Pit and only killing a few handlers. That's if they even tried to stand in her way. But no matter what the show's intention was, we now have the character of Rhaenys who has no regard for the citizens she killed. Now, some might say that most of the ruling families of Westeros have little regard for the common folk and look down on them. There is, though, an enormous difference between disregarding people and not valuing them highly and going out and massacring them. What's troubling, too, is that she never displayed remorse about what happened. There isn't even one line where she recognizes what she did that day. Her problems are further exacerbated when she acts as if Daemon is beneath her for suggesting that she should have torched the Greens that day. But for her, killing the little people is fine. Now, would Daemon have done the same thing in the Dragon Pit if he had been in her position? Absolutely, but he's not presented as the voice of morality as Rhaenys has been, and as they continue to do even after that slaughter. And all this marks her evolution into a hypocritical figure. It's unfortunate because they doubled down in season 2, making her the moral conscience and the voice of reason. She was like the Yoda of House of the Dragon. When she speaks, she's presented as someone who brings wisdom and understanding to the broader universe. Her words were even prominently spotlighted in trailers.
There is no war so hateful to the gods as a war between kin. And no war so bloody as a war between dragons.
But after the Dragon Pit, it's more like getting preached to by Anakin Skywalker than Yoda. So either the writers were trying to force upon us a character as they saw as flawless and they themselves overlooked or excused her mistakes, or they're trying to show the contradictions in Rhaenys. Unfortunately, I think it's the former. If they were trying to point out the inability for her deeds to meet her words, at some point they would have connected those dots or had another character call her out on what she did. When Rhaenys speaks of avoiding war and taking the right path, it rings hollow because of her past actions, ones that she hasn't even admitted as being wrong. Her problems are even further compounded when she ridiculously counsels Rhaenyra to reach out to Alicent in an attempt to end a war that is well past the negotiation stage. It couldn't be stopped after the deaths of Lucerys and Aegon's son Jaehaerys. The Greens also had their armies on the march. Baela informed the council that Criston Cole was moving forces north into the Crown Lands. How could peace be attained here? And besides, Aegon isn't just going to step down. This is all ludicrous. Of course, it's right to want to avoid war when it can be stopped, but it's blindness and ineptitude to not accept the reality of the situation. If we'd had a combative Rhaenys coming out of the Dragon Pit, one that wasn't vacillating, preachy, and unrealistic, we would have gone a long way to improve some of the problems with her character. We could then take the Dragon Pit scene as one of evolution toward a more harder-edged woman than one that just slipped into the hypocrisy of moral sermons. The writers inappropriately inserted these higher ideals into Rhaenys, and there's even this underlying message that the women, her, Rhaenyra, and Alicent, can somehow solve this whole thing.
I do not care to read her message. What she did
It is not her, but the men around her who seek bloodshed.
None of those men, though, have massacred innocent civilians. This desire to make Rhaenys perfect in some way despite her actions ruins her. Besides, in fictions, flawed characters are more intriguing and readily related to by readers of the books or viewers of the TV shows or films. It's one reason early season Game of Thrones characters like Jaime and Cersei were so compelling, and unfortunately, though, by the time she met her end at the Battle of Rook's Rest, it was demonstrated that Rhaenys would not have made a good queen. She had a sense of superiority over others that wasn't backed up by her actions. From what was displayed on the show, Rhaenys would have been a queen prone to poor judgment and one who didn't have much regard for the common folk. So it was best that she became the queen that never was. In the end, her death spotlights her critical errors. The first, of course, is not finishing off the Greens and ending the war before it started, not getting on Meleys and joining Daemon and Caraxes to take down Vhagar, and then, of course, her foolishness in thinking peace could still be attained through the powerless Alicent. At least, though, in the end, Rhaenys did show great courage during the Battle of Rook's Rest. In Rhaenys' case, the perfect was the enemy of the good. They didn't have to make her out to be some paragon of virtue. Show some nuance. Point out when she's wrong and that she can make mistakes. And in a world that is as dangerous and backstabbing as the one George created, this is what we want to see, something gritty and realistic. Not a character placed on a pedestal, particularly an undeserving one. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to hit the like button. If you're interested in more on House of the Dragon and A Song of Ice and Fire, listen to Caraxes and subscribe. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon.